Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into today's second video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days. For today's second video, day 10 will take us to 21st of October, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the GFS and ECM ensembles later on in a couple of weeks. We'll have a look at CFS V2 for November at the end of the video, and I shall get on that for you in a moment. Just say that first video is there's our 6 AM UK weather forecast, and we've also released January Friday as well. Check out those two vids if you'd like to do that. Like, share and subscribe on all of today's videos and content. And thank you so much everyone for doing that for GavsWeatherVids. Thank you so much everyone. These by around 60 subscribers. That's all, 60 to get us out to 18.9k. So if you would like to give us a sub, that'd be absolutely awesome. Thank you so much everyone. Right, going to start off in the subtropical Atlantic. Things are a lot quieter. Now you notice that Hurricane Milton has disappeared. So Hurricane Milton is now gone, but we do still have two disturbance areas. We've got Tropical Storm Leslie just here, and then we've got Disturbance 1 just there. So dealing with Leslie's burst, we're currently giving maximum sustained winds of 60 miles per hour with a minimum set pressure of 999 millibars, moving northwards at 10 miles per hour. Clicking on Leslie, we can see that this will be going post-tropical during the weekend. So currently, Tropical Storm just there, heading to the Azores as we get through to the weekend as a post-tropical storm. That should be the end of Leslie. Then there's Disturbance 1. Now, yesterday, Disturbance 1 had just a 20% chance of cyclone formation in the next 2 and 7 days. Now it's got a 40% chance of cyclone formation in the next 2 and 7 days. So that might be one to keep an eye on in the next few days. They're saying satellite imagery indicates that shower and thunderstorm activity is currently displaced to the east of the low-level centre of an area of low pressure located over the southwestern portion of Cape Verde Islands. Some additional development is possible, and a short-lived tropical depression or tropical storm could form while the system moves westwards to northwestwards at 10-15 miles an hour across the Cape Verde Islands and into the eastern tropical Atlantic today. On Saturday, tomorrow, environmental conditions are forecast to become less conducive, and further development appears unlikely after that time. So it looks as though by the end of the weekend we should probably be seeing things becoming a lot calmer then. But we shall see, and we'll keep an eye on things, and obviously we'll keep you posted. Right, central England temperature is now sitting at 11.8. That's 1.3 degrees above 61 to 99 average provisional to yesterday, to the 10th of October. So quite a mild sort of first 10 days of the month. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles. Let's go with Belfast today. Red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Belfast. We're starting off below average at the moment. Cold snap currently taking place across much of the country. Next week, though, the upper air temperatures are lifting up. Third week of October looking really quite mild. And then we find things cooling down into the last week, 10 days of October, returning closer to average precipitation. Why? But this is for Belfast, we're going to be very exposed to the Atlantic. Areas further south and east of that won't be as wet. Nevertheless, it looks as though the next week will be drier. Not completely dry, but will be drier across much of the country. But turning more unsettled as we go into the second half of October. Again, I think that's indicative of most parts of the country. Just, it's wetter than it would be if we looked somewhere like London. In fact, we can look at Cardiff. So there's a similar trend, but the precipitation spikes aren't quite as dramatic. And, people saying if we went to somewhere like London as well. So overall, it looks like we're starting cool, turning milder, probably see a cool down by the end of the month, and starting drier, but not completely dry, and then turning more unsettled late next week, and that could well take us through the remainder of October. Temperature anomalies from the 11th to the 19th of October, a bit above average in south, near normal further north, and precipitation anomalies from the 11th to 19th of October. Drier than average in the south, a little bit wetter than average up in the north. Latest weather map from earthnollschool.net shows that we've got a ridge across the south today. Some higher pressure through there, but low pressure is away to the north and the west of Scotland. Right, let's start going through the chart data then. It's our latest UK Met Euro run. Looking midnight on Monday, high pressure over to the east country. Low pressure is out to the west. Through the course of next week, we draw up a southerly wind, so it will be turning a lot milder, if not warmer next week, but still quite unsettled with weather systems coming in from off the Atlantic, keeping the changeable conditions going, particularly to the north and west, the south and southeast should have drier conditions at times. Icon, again, much of this through the early part of next week with high pressure east, low pressure west. We bring up that mild or warm southerly flow. Perhaps a little bit more in way of high pressure with Icon compared to the UK Met, especially for the south. Should mean a mostly dry week down the south, whereas the north and west probably still quite changeable. Wind and rain at times. Again, the KMA draws up that southerly flow through the early part of next week, looking quite mild through the beginning part of next week, but then low pressure, excuse me, coming in off the Atlantic. Oh dear. There we go, that's better. Low pressure coming in off the Atlantic. Thought before this was going to go better. Low pressure coming in off the Atlantic, bring changeable conditions. Wet and windy around the 17th to the 18th of October. Quite stormy there, the KMA. Always high pressure south, low pressure to the north, brings the driest weather to the south, while it's settled in the north. It's a much more typical sort of autumn pattern this that we've got for the next week or two, with the north and west tending to get the most unsettled conditions compared to the south, as we had during September and the beginning of October. The GFS, midnight run, once more is building that high pressure to the east with the low pressure out to the west. Up comes that warm southerly flow, and then low pressure pushes across the country later next week, brings some unsettled conditions to all areas. Heading up towards day 10, wet windy in the north and west, drier in the south and in the southeast. By 300 hours out, long way out, 23rd of October, we're all unsettled then, with low pressure deepening in the Atlantic. So increasingly unsettling, back finishing up really quite wet and windy there by Sunday, 27th of October. That's the start of GMT, of course. And this is how the GFS 6 Z looks in comparison. So again, up comes that southerly wind through the early to middle part of next week. Then we turn more changeable for a while. Heading up towards day 10, well, rather flat and westerly, to be honest. The most unsettled weather in the north and west, dry some southeast, but probably even in the southeast there would be some rain. That looks pretty unsettled there around the 22nd of October, quite a deep low pushing through there. Certainly a changeable look to both GFS runs today. A bit of a cold snap there, about 23rd of October, northerly winds, further low pressure pushing through as we get through towards month's end. So a very changeable GFS 6Z actually, from late next week onwards. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share and subscribe. Make sure everyone for doing that. Drop a comment, let us know what you think about this and all of our videos and content. And don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids and get them to subscribe too. I think it shows everyone for doing that. 60 subscribers gets us to 18.9k. So if you could give us a sub, that'd be absolutely awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. Right, GM. Again, bring that low pressure in from off the Atlantic on Monday before high pressure builds over to the east of the country Tuesday and Wednesday. Up comes that southerly flow. Later next week, a trough pushes eastwards, takes changeable conditions through the country with it. Then we're looking wet and windy as we go into the weekend of the 19th to 20th of October, particularly to the north and west. Day 10, quite unsettled in all areas, but still the pattern of high pressure south, low pressure to the north, so quite zonal. And then the ECM rounds it all off looking like this, with high pressure generally building to the south and the east, low pressure to the north and the west. Through the middle part of next week brings up that very mild, if not quite warm, southerly flow. Then low pressure edging in across the country later next week, taking unsettled weather with it. Into the weekend of 19th, 20th of October, looking rather changeable then as well, rather wet and windy. And heading up towards day 10, we keep it pretty changeable with winds in from the west, so rather showery and a little bit on the cool side then. This is a precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from tometeo.com. So there will be showery conditions this weekend and cold enough for a little bit of snow over high ground in the north tonight and tomorrow. Then high pressure dries things out later in the weekend. The beginning of next week starts to see wetter weather working its way in from off the Atlantic. And then going to those southerly winds, of course, so pretty mild around the middle part week. But still with further rain to come, not particularly drying out. And most unsettled is set to carry on into the last part of next week. And still focusing on wettest weather on the south and the east, actually, with the ECM. A little bit surprising there. Eventually, we're going to those westerly winds, so further showery conditions to come. But actually, looks like quite a wet sort of 10 days ahead, doesn't it? Oh dear. It's trying to settle down and dry out, but how successful it will be remains to be seen. Right, CFSB2. No, what I'm talking about. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10. Getting ahead of myself. It takes us to the 21st of October from the Icelandic Met Office. 16 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure to the north, high pressure to the south, flat and westerly. And they've got 12 with, again, high pressure over and to the south of the country, low pressure way to the northwest. That looks pretty westerly as well. 8 members of the ECM ensemble very unsettled with low pressure in control. It includes the operational run as well. 6 members of the ECM ensemble with low pressure to the north, high pressure to the south. Oh, looking pretty flat and westerly. 5, again, low pressure to the north, high pressure to the south. And then 4 with high pressure dominating the weather. So a few days ago, it looked as though around day 10, high pressure would be dominating the weather. Now, only 4 members of the ECM ensembles want high pressure, an actual area of high pressure to be dominating the weather. All the other options are westerly to varying degrees. And then in 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. And it will get us to the 26th of October. 13 members of the ECM ensembles will have high pressure to the southwest, low pressure to the southeast. So looking a little bit cool and changeable with that one. We've got 12 with low pressure to the north, high pressure to the south. That again continues the westerly theme. We've got 9 with high pressure away to the northwest, low pressure southeast. That looks a little bit cool and changeable. And then we've got 7 with high pressure in the Atlantic going up towards Greenland, low pressure to the south. That brings the most unsettled conditions back to the south, actually. We've got 6 with high pressure over to the west of the country, and we've got 4 with high pressure ridging from Ireland up to Scandinavia. That's going to be dry, but could be a bit cold with winds coming in from the northeasterly direction. So an absolute range of options there for 2 weeks out, telling us there is a lot of uncertainty still within the ECM ensembles for the latter stages of October. Now, this is the CFSV2. This is the latest 700 millibar height anomaly idea for November. So remember, these charts change daily. Today's idea has high pressure to the west and to the southwest, low pressure to the north and to the northwest, and we bring the wind in from a westerly direction. So it looks pretty zonal in November there. Consequently, with an Atlantic flow, we have a milder than average month being predicted, and precipitation-wise, no signal, but you would have thought a relatively changeable month would be likely with that. We shall see. Okay, we're done. If you've enjoyed the video, please do like, share, and subscribe. Thanks so much, everyone, for doing that. Why not drop a comment and let us know what you think about this and all of our videos and content. Don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids. Get them to subscribe too. 60 subscribers gets us to 18.9k. Thanks so much, everyone, for doing that. I'll just start having you on my channel tomorrow and over the weekend. So you're going to have a 6 AM UK weather forecast, weekend forecast, ECM 42 day and a 10 to 14 day as well. And then on Sunday, we've got the, again, 6 AM UK weather forecast, got a 7th winter update. That's going to be an absolute epic. And then we'll be live at 6 PM. That's 6 PM live streams, discussing the winter update, doing a 10 to 14 day video, and of course, including some long range, as it's a Sunday live stream. So we've got to do that. So you have a fantastic weekend. I shall see you, I'm sure, at some point over the weekend, either for one of our uploads or for the live on Sunday evening. But for this one, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.